Obviously AI is a big, it's a buzzword, but it's also a deal killer to some. I think if you try to promote yourself too much like it as an AI company and you're not really an AI company, you will turn a lot of people away. I think people are getting a little bit sensitive to the term AI, meaning businesses are not, either they're getting just sick and tired of hearing people just say AI, 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 or they're the opposite. They actually crave it, they desire it, they want to know what you're doing in terms of AI and how is it going to benefit them.
Welcome to the Growth Experts Podcast. I'm your host, Derek Collin, and today we have a special guest. His name is Jared Black, and I'm glad to welcome him to the show today. He is the founder and CEO of New Vine Employment Group and Vine AI. How's it going, Jared?
Doing great. Thanks, Thanks, Eric. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries, man. Thanks for joining the show. So I just wanted to kind of dive into your background. Can you tell us or share a bit about your role and how it fits into the bigger picture?
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, like you said, I'm the founder of New Vine Employment Group and Vine AI. Vine AI is a spin-off product of New Vine Employment Group. It came from within our internal processes, but it's now a feature that we offer to external clients. Essentially, I'm a professional recruiter, 10 years in the space. I've worked with hundreds of businesses in a number of different verticals and placed over 10,000 employees in that span. Essentially, businesses come to me specifically when they want to hire a key person within their business, and they need to do so quickly and they need to do so efficiently. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I love working with business owners and entrepreneurs. Feel like I can understand their pains and their struggles and what they're typically going through on a day-to-day in their day-to-day journey. So I can really sympathize with some of the challenges that most startup businesses are going through. I've been there myself. Today my mission is simple. It's really just help empower business owners, growth-focused organizations and businesses, help them find and hire top talent within the space. I also have a YouTube channel that helps me, push out that message. It shares valuable insights, takeaways, strategies, playbooks, everything that I use in my business to help my clients, or anything that I would recommend that my clients follow in order to do that.
Awesome. So you guys are currently expanding. I believe we had a conversation about this previously, but you guys are expanding. Is the social media a part of that expanse? Is that why you're pushing on YouTube?
I just think YouTube is one of the, if not it's one of the most trusted domains for people to get information from. And if in a space like recruitment, expertise is everything. A lot of recruiters say they're the best recruiter. It's a very crowded space and it's a very noisy space. So it's very difficult for businesses when they're pressed against a challenge and they need to get a result, which is hiring a very specific person for their business. It's a very intimate relationship. It's a very intimate experience. For them to trust who they want to partner with for that opportunity, they really need to get to know the person. And I feel like YouTube is one of the best places for people to get to know you from the outside and then build that trust and that credibility. And they can really see, based on what you're sharing, is this somebody that I can work with or somebody that I want to partner with? I think YouTube offers that more so than any other social channel because of the long format, content that's there. Whereas, it's easy to have a quick hit on TikTok or Instagram, but consistently show up every week on YouTube, that's not as easy.
Yeah. Well, so what does a typical day look like for you?
Yeah, so I'm really big about time blocking. So everything is kind of cut off into a specific part of the day. First part of the day is usually catch-up calls or follow-up calls with existing clients or maybe partners that we have. Then we kind of space that into first hour of the day is usually touching base with those individuals. Then I go into all of my content creation, whether I'm writing, whether I'm spinning up an idea, I'm working off an existing idea that we already had and just trying to create the most value out of that. And then afternoons, break it into, we have daily meetings, we have huddles, we have breakout sessions, trainings, things like that. End of day, typically it's usually something about planning or strategy for the rest of the week or for the following days to come. So I'm pretty regimented with my days, but I'm pretty systematic. I like frameworks. I like schedules. I like having a routine.
That's good. Yeah, definitely got to have a routine. So can you talk about how you're implementing, a certain tech stack, or are you utilizing your staff or your team to, sort of be implemented into your routine to make things ebb and flow? How does that work?
Yeah, the team is really good because the process has been worked out to a point where they don't have to they know exactly what their expectations are, they know what their goals are, and they know what they should be doing on a daily basis. So our process is very routine, and it's very, I would say, the process has been ironed out over a period of time where it works, right?
Yeah.
So I don't need to really need to hover over the team. The team is performing at a very optimal level, and all we need to do is just get super clear on what our goals and our objectives are, and the team just does their thing. Very much like any other team, like any other high functioning team, everyone has their position to play. So everyone has a part in that process. So starting from discovery, then we have qualification, then we have delivery, or maybe like a customer relation type of interaction. And then we have the actual post-deliver, post-hire type of follow-up routine or set of requirements that come from that. So everyone has their part to play. And I kind of look at it as like a symphony, we're an orchestra. I can be the conductor and the team just plays, but everyone's playing their own instrument, so to speak. But when it comes together, it comes together very, very nicely. Technology is a huge part of that, obviously being, our virtual team. So it allows us to work faster. It allows us to be more efficient. It allows us to stay in constant communication without nudging or bothering each other. And it allows us to provide better results to our clients. So our client is getting a faster, better service because of technology.
Awesome. Yeah. So what major shifts are you currently seeing in the industry right now?
Obviously AI is a big, it's a buzzword, but it's also a deal killer to some. I think if you try to promote yourself too much like it is an AI company and you're not really an AI company, you will turn a lot of people away. I think people are getting a little bit sensitive to the term AI, meaning businesses are not, either they're getting just sick and tired of hearing people just say AI, 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 or they're the opposite. They actually crave it, they desire it, they want to know what you're doing in terms of AI and how is it going to benefit them and how is it going to make the product better, better, faster, more efficient for them. So I think today businesses need to be careful on what their position is with AI. I tend to believe that AI is the future.
Mm-hmm.
I think in recruitment, ultimately, this is a people business. So there will always be a need for that people-to-people interaction, that person-to-person interaction. However, you need to have the right blend of AI plus human being. If you don't, you rely too much on human, too much on AI, the math doesn't check out. Either you're too slow or you're doing too much for unnecessary reasons, right? Or maybe you're not really getting that accuracy, or you're not solving the pain for the client, so to speak. So for us, I think it's a constant challenge of continuing to develop our AI products, allow them to continuously break the ceiling of what they're capable of doing, but keeping a very strong relationship between the human element and having that QC of human being overwatch the AI function. So AI is a big part of what we do on the front end. Human-centric delivery is what we do on the back end.
Okay. And how has AI impacted your business or growth strategy?
I mean, hugely. I mean, we've had a huge impact from AI, not only just from, early days. I became obsessed with learning everything about AI as soon as ChatGPT became available. And I remember just spending days and hours playing around with ChatGPT just as a user.
Yeah.
But AI is a tool. I think for most businesses, they need to look at AI from a perspective of how can we leverage AI to benefit our business or to benefit our customer, right? We cannot look at AI as a consumer saying, I'm going to use AI to just, create funny images of myself or do whatever. I think if that's the way you're looking at it, it's kind of wasteful, at least from a business perspective.
Yeah.
So for us, we've built AI into our entire process, from onboarding new clients, from scheduling meetings, from discovery and search, to qualifying, grading candidates who apply, to conducting follow-up messaging, everything. So AI is present in our entire process at different points, and that's allowing us to be, I feel, to offer a better service.
Okay. And what's working well for you right now and what's not? What's frustrating?
Yeah, I mean, what's working well is the entire process works well. What's frustrating is I wish I can get in the hands of more people. It's something where I'm very conscious not to just blow smoke or to just like drop out paid ads and just say like, hey, our AI will find you the perfect person tomorrow. Like, I'm very conscious to say this is still a boutique service, because we don't hand anybody just the keys to, we don't give you a login and say, go ahead, go nuts. That's not our model. Our model is still very boutique, and it's consultative. So somebody comes to us with a problem, they need to hire for a specific position. We will build an AI search engine off the back of their needs, specific to their business. It's not something that it's a plug and play where everyone gets the same treatment. Some businesses require certain levels of search. Some businesses require certain benchmarks, testing, assessments, questioning, everything. So we build that process from scratch each time. So every time we have that, it's a better result for the client, but also it takes time, right? It takes time to build those things out and to deliver. It's much faster than doing so by person or by hand, searching through hundreds or thousands of different resumes, CVs, applicants, or searching for those people from zero. That's a very, very slow strategy. And it takes so much more time than our AI model. But our AI model, what takes the longest is to build it out. It takes usually 3 to 5 days. And then discovery takes, a couple, I would say, as fast as a few minutes to as long as 1 or 2 days, depending on what the market size actually is.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, we're just booking onto meetings. So
Yeah.
the discovery, the build out, the evaluation, the discovery, and the connection with the candidate, it's working very, very well for us. I just wish that we can get in the hands of more clients, more businesses.
Well, why aren't you able to get it in the hands of more clients, more businesses? Is it outreach? Is it they're hesitant about AI? Is everyone on the fence? Why is
It's more, I think, a bottleneck on us. We strategically take on a certain amount of clients per month, so we don't work with everybody. So we limit the amount of people that we take on and we onboard into our business. Therefore, we can continue to offer the same quality and the same level of high touch, high quality experience. If we open up the floodgates too soon, you ruin the product for everybody.
Yeah.
So we're scaling bit by bit as we can take on more. So each month I look at, hey, what were our delivery metrics? Can we add more to this? Do we need more resources here, there, wherever it is? And we adjust. But for the most part, I keep a restraint on that. And I want to remain somewhat of a bottleneck to the process at this time, just to keep quality high.
Okay. What metrics are you most focused on improving right now?
Conversations. So I would say more client conversations, or I should say prospect conversations. The prospect conversations are difficult because not everyone has the same pain at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, if I was to offer you a solution to benefit your health, maybe you don't need the health benefit right now. But when you're really sick or when you're feeling really sick, that's when it's the most viable to you or most important to you. That's when you're the most open to hearing about the solution. So in hiring, it's very much the same. The business, most businesses are going through different seasons. They're going through different periods where they either need to onboard, don't need to onboard, or they're hiring, they have bottlenecks in their business that's preventing them from onboarding people, or they have a hard time retaining good quality people. So depending on where their pain is and when they're experiencing their pain is when they're most open to having these conversations. But once we get an opportunity to share our ideas, our strategies, usually it's a very, very strong connection and aligned very nicely.
Awesome. Can you talk about Vine AI? Are you allowed to talk about that?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
kind of
tell us what it is. How does it work?
Yeah, it's first of all, it's a customized product. So this isn't something, like I said, you get, your own login. I want to be very clear what it's not. What it's not is its own SaaS product where people log in individually and do whatever they want behind the scenes. That's not what this is. There's a lot of products out there that have been released over the last 18 months that I think they're pretty good for what they are. But when I speak to a client, they're not looking for more work. They're looking for less work. They're looking for a solution. So ultimately, they want somebody to handle this process for them and hand them the solution, right? So if you are back due on taxes, if your books are a mess, or if your, finances are all over the place, you want to hire an accounting firm, you want to hire a bookkeeper, your bookkeeping service, you don't go to them for them to say, okay, you need to go into your bank statements and you need to document all this and put in whatever search term you want and do this and do this. They're not giving you the work. You're paying for them to do the work on your behalf and help you save time and money by making your life easier, making your books cleaner, catching up on whatever back taxes may be, whatever the case may be. But the challenge is the same. The person doesn't want to use their time, right? They want to leverage somebody else and their expertise to save on that time. So that's what Vine is built around. Vine is built around the idea that businesses want to leverage Vine to save time and money. How it helps them save time and money is by giving them access to talent pools globally that they would have never otherwise had access to. And it allows them to leverage a recruitment firm at a fraction of the cost of working with a recruiter. So recruiters are typically charged 30, 35, 40, 45% market rate for, let's just say $100,000 salary position. You're paying 40 grand to a recruiter for that opportunity, right? Off the back of Vine, leveraging the same, maybe even better, but similar process in which you give the role over to a recruitment team. Our recruitment team puts that into Vine. Vine then conducts a discovery process globally. And then through the back end of our AI agents that we've built attached to Vine, it will run 1, discovery, 2, assessments, 3, qualifications, 4, it'll conduct scoring. So then it'll start to rate those candidates based on a highest to lowest score. And then based on parameters that we set in advance, that scoring metric then starts to conduct outreach. Once we conduct outreach, we're having what we call buy-in. When we have buy-in, that means that the candidate is open to the opportunity. That's when a human recruiter on my team engages with them, talks to them a little bit thoroughly, and then we're off. So usually it takes days to be able to discover, a handful of candidates for a recruiter. If they're doing it manually, for us, we're identifying candidates in a matter of minutes, and then we're engaging with them in as little as 15 to 20 minutes after discovery.
Wow, that's awesome, man. Yeah. I like how you talk about certain metrics and scoring. And then you said it does a global wide search as well. That's quite expansive. Does that take up a lot of like data, bandwidth? Do you guys have servers? How are you backing that up?
Yeah, so we don't own any of our servers. Everything is we're leasing that space, or we pay for the service of the storage digitally, but we don't retain that information. Meaning when we run a search, once we've passed through that first benchmark, we don't keep any of that existing first layer search. We don't keep that data. It's the only data that we're keeping is actually once we're engaging with them. So once we've gotten to the engagement point, so we searched 100,000 candidates, but we only engaged with 100 of them. There's no need to keep the 100,000. We just keep the 100.
Yeah.
Then we enter that 100 into our outreach sequencing, which is through email tools. And therefore, once we meet with those candidates, even still very few are even passing through that level. Again, we're not keeping any of that data if they're not advancing into conversations. And therefore, we're only keeping a handful of candidates at a time on record, and that's held in our ATS.
Awesome. So where do you see Vine AI and new Vine Employment Group as a whole within the next 6 to 12 months?
Great question. I see Vine as its own product eventually. Right now, it's a product that I offer to existing clients. So meaning, when we work with when a prospect comes into our ecosystem, they want to partner with us. We obviously get on a call, make sure that we can provide the service and the result that they want. We don't want to just work with everybody. We want to be able to serve them well.
Yeah.
And therefore, we want to partner with businesses who can value our service, who are aligned with the service that we offer, are open to using the technologies that we use. So we make sure that we're aligned from a high level. Then we want to serve them well. So what's the position that we're serving? Meaning, are we placing one position? Is it 5? Is it several? What are we actually doing for them? And then based on that, is it something where we're just doing a one-shot direct placement type of approach, or is this a consistent month-over-month type of deal? If it's a month-over-month type of relationship, then that's where Vine becomes viable for a business. If it's a one-time placement, it's not really something that I would recommend to any clients, because they don't need to pay for the setup and do all this recruitment setup. If we already have these channels built into our back end, we already do this. We use the technology for any of our executive placements or any of our direct placements. We use this technology. The difference is between Vine and what we do internally is Vine is built for them to be able to leverage and be able to access at their own, at their own pace. So they get visibility to a dashboard. They can jump into the dashboard, see the metrics, see the search conducted, see how many candidates have been qualified, how many have been rejected, who's already screened, who's booked for interviews, all of that. So they can access this data. The difference between Vine and what New Vine Employment Group does is they wouldn't have access to what we're doing on the back end from a traditional direct placement stance. So that's where it just becomes a difference. Like, what type of service does our client want and need? Do they need something repetitive, just month over month, we need to hire the same roles? Are we hiring for account managers, sales reps, whatever it would be? Or is this, hey, we need one VP, a killer in our space, and we need this person, and we have a very clear understanding of what we're looking for. Perfect. So we decide we agree on what is required from the client. We put them in the right service, and then if we continue working together, we put them in the right bucket to go forward. But I see Vine being a standalone product on its own, eventually, as technology would advance and allow us to continue to advance with it. But for now, I would say just continuing to build on our existing network, continue to build with our client base, continue to build trust in channels like YouTube and social media,
Yeah.
and just get the product in more hands.
Awesome. Well, it's been a pleasure. Is there anything you wanted to tell anybody out there? Is there specific targets or niches or specialized groups that you guys work with? What would you like to share?
Yeah, absolutely. I primarily work with growth mode companies or companies in scale up mode. So companies that are minimum 50 employees upwards to a couple thousand employees, companies that are dedicated towards either a certain number of hires per quarter, or they're trying to get to a certain headcount. Maybe companies that have just gone through a recent round of fundraising, or maybe they have just acquired a new facility, anything like that. So growth mode, scaling businesses is typically who we serve. A number of different sectors. We've worked in every industry you can think of, worked from e-com to software, technology, manufacturing, production, aviation, transportation,
Mhm.
everything. I mean, literally every industry we've served. It's more about getting an understanding of the core culture, and
Yeah.
we have a system for that. But it's about finding those intangible things about the candidate and what makes that company unique and special to them, and then connecting those two things. So the industry is really kind of, I would say, the least important part of the process.
Mhm.
And I would say anybody who's listening and just wants to know if this is right for them, I have a free score, like a health score, a quiz that you can take. Call. Essentially, this is a product. You can go online. You can click the link. I'll send you a link. You can drop it here in the description if you want. But it's a hiring success score app. And essentially what it will allow you to do is just jump into this portal, complete a quiz, takes 2 minutes, completely free.
Mm.
And it's a scorecard that gives you a report based on, hey, are you successful in your hiring efforts, or are you not successful in your hiring efforts? And if you're not successful, or you're having inconsistencies, or you're failing any part of that process, it'll tell you where you're failing in that process and how to solve that problem. So serves a lot of audiences. I mean, I've had a lot of good replies from it, and at least it's a place for you to start, completely free. And if you want to book a call off the back of that, you can book a call there. You can also find my YouTube channel. There's a lot of free content there.
Awesome. You heard them, guys. Yeah, I'll make sure to get that content from you, Jared, and we'll put it in the description. No problem. Well, thank you so much for joining the GrowthX podcast, Jared. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. Hopefully, the audience will get a lot of value out of our conversation today. For those of you who want to check out Jared's website, that is New Vine Employment Group. That's at www.newvinegroup.com. Thanks, Jared.
Appreciate it.